All right, guy. Not the greatest of starts, clearly, unlike Rohit Sharma. Welcome back to the review for the game between India and Afghanistan, a game that I at least personally expected would be some sort of a contest after the way Afghanistan batted. Clearly, Rohit Sharma had other plans, and so did Ishant Kishan and Virat Kohli for that matter. All three of them had a great outing with the bat, and good to see all three of them get some runs. Unfortunately, Shreyas did not really get much of a chance as we hoped. We have Somesh Agarwal. We've got Gurkirat Singh Gill. Hello, guys. How are we doing today? क्या लगा मैच देखे? Anything to say या बस खत्म करके निकलने का प्लान है बस?
No, still looking forward to एक वो game जो मतलब हिला दे एकदम अंदर से. But yeah, I'll take these early finishes. Having been working on this World Cup non-stop, it's okay to get one late night to yourself.
चलो आखिरकार आपका MI फैंडम कहीं तो काम है. मतलब रोहित शर्मा, ईशान किशन helping you, get done with the game quickly. Gurkirat, what did you make of Rohit's knock? I mean, fantastic innings. Yeah, not the greatest of bowlers and all of that. I mean, you can discredit it however way you want, but even then, fantastic innings, right?
Yeah, he never allowed, there wasn't even a sniff for Afghanistan. It was just that kind of an innings. And to be very honest, this game was the chase was done in the first 6-7 overs. What happened thereon was just a mere formality. And, this was just Afghanistan being Afghanistan. You will not see any other side holding on their best bowler till the 14th over, or rather the 15th over of the innings when the rampage has been on. And it's even funny that Rashid was the sixth bowler introduced into the attack, and eventually he was the only one who got those 2 wickets. So it's just beggars belief. I mean, there are a lot of stubborn people in sport, especially I've seen many in cricket. But as a team thought, as a team think tank, I can't think of any other team think tank in franchisee leagues or across formats to be as stubborn as Afghanistan's. It's just beggars belief. It just makes you wonder that how set in stone are their plans, that regardless of come what may, will they drift from it.
If anything, we probably have to just accept that Afghanistan's progress is despite their, board-in system and not because of it. I mean, Somesh bhai, and just sort of a slight digression. Talking about the Delhi surface, I mean, you can see Babarav Apte, he says his prediction of Rohit scoring 500 runs at 120 still stands. Do you think a lot of these inflated numbers are because of the way the Delhi surface has played out? Greg also goes on to say the Pasco here could be 370 to 400. I mean, would you believe it?
I think the best thing about this World Cup so far has been the differences in surface. At least it's giving us variety. If had all the surfaces been like Delhi, or the surfaces, everything would have been like Chennai, then it would have become a very monotonous World Cup. So far, I'm liking it. Let's see how it progresses. Talking about the pitch, I mean, it's the same for both teams. At the end of the day, it's a contest. If a few teams are not working on their power game, are still, I know I dissed Hajmatullah Shahidi, and he went on to score. But at the end of the day, in this day and age, if you're picking batters with strike rate, the listed strike rate of 70, then you are not keeping up with the times. And this is not just an Afghanistan problem. I think this is developing into a subcontinent problem. Can't blame the pitches. It is what it is. You have to compete.
But Gurkirat, are you surprised with how this Delhi surface has played, in the World Cup? Because during the mega preview, I remember when we were sort of, going through venues, and when we were talking about, different team schedules, we were talking about how Delhi could potentially be a banana peel, for the likes of Australia, South Africa, all these, Sena countries, because it should ideally be spin friendly, so spinners would have a greater role to play and all of that jazz. It's not really. I mean, the story has been completely different. What do you make of that? And of course, Paji.
We just need to make a compilation at the end of this World Cup of just
Definitely.
me speaking on mute.
Gurkirat, unmute Paji.
So it's not been the typical Kotla track, because before this World Cup began, there were 52 batting innings at Kotla, which means 26 matches, and only twice you had seen 300 being touched. So of course the pitch has been better. It's something, like I said, the DC team would like in the IPL. But having said that, I thought today was not as flat as the previous one. There was some grip. I will keep talking about that. And I felt even when Rashid came on, he was also bowling very quickly. Mujib was bowling in the hundreds. So I mean, I don't think I just think that when it came to Afghanistan, the bowlers uh, were just shell shocked as to what to do, because Naveen, I thought when he came on, and especially when he was bowling that in between length, he was just at least making stroke play tougher. It may see in ODI cricket you may always not have pitches which will aid wicket taking bowling, but if you could just contain the batters, then you could buy wickets from somewhere. But just the assault of the Rohit Sharma innings was such that Bangladesh had no clue. They were just hoping that there would be mistakes, and that's how just India lost those 2 wickets. It wasn't really down to some great bowling or anything.
It-
Fair. And you
yeah,
were,
it was almost as if Rohit got a lot of he was very frustrated in the first innings, and in the second we just saw him channelizing that through his stroke पे कि भाई इतना लंबा मेरे को first innings में खड़ा करवाया तुमने, now I just want to, this is how angry I am.
I mean, the shot that he played to Azmatullah Omarjai, that pull, that swivel pull, oh boy, man, utter disdain. Like I almost felt pity for the bowler because that was as Rohit as it could be, and it was very, very, very again. Like as a Team India fan, it was just so heartening to see Rohit do what he does best, and it bodes well given that we'll be playing Pakistan in Ahmedabad, where again we'll be facing the likes of Shaheen, the likes of Hassan Ali, and Haris Rauf. So it's good to see. Of course, Omar Jai, we cannot compare them with Pakistan's pacers, clearly not. But even then, it's great to see Indian batters, get some runs under their belt. What was also very encouraging to see was all four batters nearly scored in excess of 100. Barring Kohli, who scored a 56 ball 55, all four of them scored in excess of 100. How much of it did you think had to do with the surface itself? Because the Afghan batters also, I mean, of the 11 batters, 9 of them got to double digits, and Naveen had an unbeaten 9, so he also almost got there. So, what do you think? Like, is this surface? Do you expect this to sort of deteriorate going? I mean, while we go through the tournament, or are you expecting to stay this way? Because we don't see a lot of matches being played, at least not at the frequency at which we would see, say, at the IPL.
Yeah, it will slow down, but maybe not as much because it's not exactly summers. Uh, See, evenings in Delhi are now becoming slightly cooler. It's not that chilling cold or anything, but it's something that makes the evening pleasant. So maybe that will hold the surfaces slightly better, but it will definitely get slower. And yes, you talked about batters touching a strike rate of 100, but it was not as if Ishan Kishan started off quickly. He had taken his time. He didn't really start timing it from ball one. Shreyas also. So, and Virat Kohli was just batting in the template that he does. So there's a good possibility that Rohit made the pitch look easier than what it was.
Definitely, and like Somya said, he was probably so annoyed with how the first innings panned out. Let's just take Faraz's comment on that because he says playing the devil's advocate here, bhai, wo to mera kaam hai. But either ways, does Shami walk into the side for Siraj given his new ball record in Mutera last season? What do you think? Is this a bit too reactionary? Do you think this is actually possible? Somesh bhai, you can probably start first.
Yeah, but I think I've spoken enough about
I know,
Bumrah,
but this is instead of Siraj, right? Because we
Bumrah
usually,
Siraj, the
yeah.
combination.
So
I yeah, maybe Gurkirat can take this one.
Yeah.
I'll
in the
just let it
in
pass
the
by.
preview I had Shami playing regardless. I said that Ahmedabad's one venue where India have to make space for Shami somehow, and see what they can do. If Shami comes in, I'm not sure if he'll come in place of Siraj, because what I saw today in terms of Rohit trusting Shardul. So if he comes in, he again comes in at the number 8 spot, and that would mean India will be taking a slight risk in terms of their batting depth. And again, there are two ways it can play out. If India bowl first, then you'd expect that the drier conditions, or sort of drier conditions as what you saw in that England New Zealand game, help the spinners come into the game a lot more, and then the onus will be on your two spinners to give you those breakthroughs in the middle overs. And if India bat second, or if India bowl second, then obviously you are looking at the pace attack to just completely sort of derail the game over there, with Shami taking at least a couple in the power play. So it totally comes down to what plans do India have, and do they really think that going with another pacer instead of a spinner, or going in with Shami instead of Shardul helps them in terms of, because now the top order of Pakistan is not the bigger worry. It's getting wickets in those middle overs. So how do they see it will depend. But yes, if there was one venue where it was a certain, where Shami playing was a certain shout, I don't think it can get better than Ahmedabad.
But if Shami does make his way into the 11, are you saying Shami and Siraj would sort of, open with the new ball and Bumrah will exclusively ply his trade in the middle and the end overs? Or do you see it, panning differently?
No, I feel it would be slightly different. Uh, Bumrah could maybe have a shorter spell in the with the new ball in the power play, because Hardik also bowled well in Ahmedabad, whatever has he's bowled. So probably we could see that split. I don't think India will look to not give Bumrah the ball at all, because his accuracy and the way he's bowled with the new ball today also, it was a decent start for Afghanistan. So if India are bowling second, it would be, yeah, it wouldn't really make sense to not give Bumrah the new ball, because you have the opportunity to kill the game in the first 10-15 overs itself. So why would you not take it?
All right, Nikhil Baiju goes on to make an interesting comment here. He says, Siraj is a rhythm bowler, doesn't have the motor control to land the ball consistently unless he is in good bowling rhythm. Shami's action is better grooved, so he can land it on a length better. Interesting point that. And I'm not sure, like, Somesh bhai, what do you think? Like, in terms of Shami making it to the starting 11, of course, Gurkira did say that Ahmedabad is the one city, Motera is the one venue where he should ideally make it back into the 11. Do you see that happening? Because Siraj has been India's best new ball bowler. In fact, he's been the best new ball bowler, period, in ODIs for the last couple of years or so. Given that, would you still want to back Siraj? And if you're getting Shamin, would you have sort of 10 overs just between the two and hold on to Bumrah for the later overs? At least as your plan A, of course. If situation pans out, if this scenario pans out differently, then maybe you can chop and change accordingly. What do you think?
See, first and foremost, I feel this all of a sudden criticism of Siraj is unwanted. I mean, we all saw what the wicket was like today. Not everyone is a Bumrah. Bumrah has set the bar pretty high, and that's why we can't compare. We can't expect everyone to be at that same level. And trust me, even Shami is not that at that same level. We have often seen it in Test matches as well. So on his day, even Shami can go for runs as he does, even in Ahmedabad and whatnot. I feel, I mean, I don't see any reason for India to move beyond the template that they've set for themselves in this World Cup. The real question should be, should they bring Ashwin back for Shardul? I mean, for me, that is the only question. Apart from that, I don't really see no real merit in changing your combination in for one game, because I tell you what it does. Let's say in that game, hypothetically, if your bowling attack does really well and Pakistan end up with a total which India, I mean, just chased down pretty easily, then what? I mean, then would you stick with that? Would you be more comfortable with that template? Why are you, I mean, this will basically, what this can actually do is create some sort of doubts in your own plan. And I feel that, I mean, at this stage of a tournament, early in the tournament, I don't really see a reason for India to do it, unless of course they go in with the plan of let's say they stick with the same 11 and Pakistan end up scoring 340, 350, and India do not are not able to chase that down, or it's the other way around. Either way, if let's say India lose, then maybe they can come back to the drawing board and figure out where they are lacking. But right now, when team has already set a plan for the World Cup, they're winning. I don't really see a reason for them to change the template.
Yeah, so that I pretty much agree with this, which is why I said that if Shami comes in, it will not be in place of Siraj. For me, he comes in place of Shardul, because of the lack of confidence that I saw from Rohit in when it came to giving him the ball. That's the only. I'm not replacing Siraj just on the basis of one and a half bad game. I wouldn't even say two bad games.
All right, and before we go further ahead, guys, 54 of you watching, please make sure you guys are liking the stream. Make sure you've also subscribed to our channel if you haven't already. A lot of great content coming your way. In fact, just over an hour ago, a new property of ours, the first episode of a new property of ours has come out. Do check that out. It's called cricket.com Game Nights. Do check that out. Show your love. Let us know what you made of it and how you like, what you like, what you didn't like, and do let us know if you got all the answers in the comments. And of course, we also discussed before, or rather mentioned before, Avnish, or rather cricket.com, will be going live with the great cricketer, with Sam, with Ian on Friday sharp at 3 o'clock. You will see Avnish with his Aussie counterparts doing the kind of batter that all of you would love to see. It's at Friday, 3 p.m. sharp. Make sure you guys tune in. It'll be a great stream. So yeah, those were the plugins that I had to make. And just coming back to the game, Sanjay mentioned that Bumrah would be his man of the match given his performance. So what do you guys think? Who was the top performer of the day? Somesh, you can start first.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Bumrah here on a wicket that was as flat as that. He basically bowled on a different wicket altogether in comparison to every other bowler. So for me, I know I don't even know who the player of the match is officially. I
Rohit's
expect
Rohit's been declared.
I expect it to be Rohit, but the actual difference in the game was created by Bumrah. Uh, yeah, so that's pretty much it. And I'm just see this game actually fizzled out in the fifth over mark when we were doing the mid innings show. We discussed that Fazlak Farooqi will have to produce something magical for Afghanistan to stand a chance. That fifth over when Rohit hit him for 14 runs, I mean, that game for me, in my opinion, was dead and buried after that. So essentially, whatever happened after that is a no cause because India would have anyway got on to chase the target. It's the first innings where that Bumrah spell ensured that Afghanistan did not score 40-50 more runs.
Fair. Let's just take a few comments here. Raja Human, he says, can't wait to see the India versus Pakistan match. Neither could we, and all of us will be there. Me, Avnish, the works, we'll be there doing our fan cams. If you guys are in the stadium or in the vicinity, do come by, do be a part of our fan cams. We'll be more than happy to have a chat with you guys, to have a word with you guys as well in person. It'll be great to meet some of our viewers in person to get an understanding of how it is and what it is like. And Darshan Senthil, meanwhile, he asks us, didn't have a chance to watch, but why did Afghanistan hold Rashid back for so long? Seems like Rohit was making merry with the other bowlers. Something Gurkirat also mentioned, there was absolutely no reason to hold him back. Gurkirat, anything you would want to add just for Darshil's?
Before Gurkirat adds, I'll actually quote Gurkirat, something that he said in one of our watch-alongs, that there is an unwritten law in Afghanistan's constitution that Rashid Khan cannot bowl in the power play.
But to be honest, ये अफगानिस्तान में नहीं, आईपीएल में भी है, like है वो रूल है. आईपीएल में भी कहाँ उसको पावर प्ले में hardly he gets to bowl. But yeah, I mean T20.
See, IPL now he's not needed with Shami and others. He's not needed. But see, in T20s also many times when he's been given the ball in IPL, especially, it's the sixth over when the batter's anyway looking to take that chance. And it's not that he's not he's not delivered, because that very recently that eliminator game, which was between MI and GT, he actually got Tilak Verma out, who was smashing it in the power play itself. So yeah, I remember saying that it is one of the commandments of Afghanistan cricket that you just cannot bowl Rashid in the power play in ODIs. So it's just frustrating to watch, because whatever contest that could have been is just finished straight away. And also, if people have watched, Rohit has had the tendency to get out to leg spin early. Once he's set, he doesn't get out to leg spin. But if he's just come to the crease, and he got out to a googly, he's usually gotten out to a googly which is slightly fuller, and he's not read it. It's either LBW or bold. But today, though, he was out by the time. He was just having fun. So can't read too much into today's dismissal. But otherwise, wrist spin is something that he struggled with. But and even that Fazal Haq Farooqi, there wasn't a single delivery which you felt that Fazal Haq Farooqi swung back in. Very few deliveries were actually targeting the stumps. Many of them were, outside off stump. There was a couple which were going down the leg side. So I'm not sure if Fazal Haq Farooqi also helped himself with the lines he was bowling.
Fair. But talking about the next game, given that India will be playing the all-important all important encounter versus Pakistan in Ahmedabad. Paris Aurora has a question for us. He asks us, if Pakistan win the toss and chase, will India have to bat out Pakistan or just get about par? Or is the pressure big enough in big games? What do you make of that? Like, do you think India can outbat Pakistan at an occasion like this?
Outbatting Pakistan is difficult, not just for India but other teams as well, because you have Hassan Ali coming in at 10, and people talk about Adil Rashid having those 10 first class centuries. Hassan Ali's also had a couple, and he's capable of big hits. So outbatting may not always be easy, but there's good enough possibility that if India do put up a power score, the bowling has enough quality to restrict Pakistan, especially with the top three struggling right now. Top three, I mean, you'd say two of the top three, because you wouldn't really say Abdullah Shafiq's struggling. So there's that. But yeah, I'm not sure if, actually very difficult to say if Pakistan would like to chase or not, because the spinners have not been doing well, and yeah, so, and barring the last chase, it's not that Pakistan's historically a very good chasing side. So there is merits for both, but yeah, they could actually go with the flow and opt to chase if they win the toss.
Oh,
You're on mute.
Akshay just pulled a Gurkirat there.
Wow, had to do that. I was just saying that you mentioned how Pakistan spinners haven't been at their greatest in terms of form, at least. And Nandlal Sepat, meanwhile, wanted to know how Virat's game, against spin has been in the World Cup and the Asia Cup, because he particularly seems to be impressed by what he's done. Even today, he seemed that he's playing the likes of Mujib and Rashid. Somesh bhai, maybe you could start with this. What do you think? Do you think he's looked a lot more at ease, or is it just our eyes, sort of being
I
fooled?
think as of now, I would say he's not been challenged enough to actually comment on this, because in the last game as well, Cummins introduced Zampa pretty late in the game. That over against Cam Green, Kohli literally provided the killing blow, so to speak. And after that, what we all know what KL Rahul did to Zampa in his first over. So let's just wait till he's challenged a lot more. Having said that, in ODIs, his spin game was not really an issue, to be very honest, because that is a format where he can take his time, he can nudge and nurdle the few singles around. So yeah, I mean, so far so good, but we'll have to wait and watch.
Fair. Let's also have a look at the points table right now. There we go. Yep. India right now at number 2 position. I was hoping that, given the kind of performance they had and given the kind of win they had today, probably they would be able to leapfrog New Zealand. Clearly, the gap was way too wide, like Gurkirat and Somesh had mentioned in the preview. But still, a very, very, very solid position to be in. A very, very, very healthy net run rate, 2 out of 2. Positive signs, because I remember reading a few comments here saying that 4 almost guarantees you a spot in the play. I mean, in the knockouts. India already are halfway there. They now play the next 2 games against who is it next? Pakistan, of course, and then they play Bangladesh in Pune. Do you think good signs? Because if they get these next 2 wins, they're pretty much there, right? Gurkirat, you can probably start.
You're saying that 4 wins guarantee a
Pretty much, they're not saying guaranteed. Of course, there'll still be mathematical possibilities and all of that involved.
I think every team needs 6 at least.
yeah, 6 is the magical number, because
All right, viewers, you've
four,
heard it
see,
here
4 is
first.
not possible. How can you
Yeah,
how can
true.
you reach the
Six,
semis by
six,
by
six
reaching
for,
more than
6 for sure.
50%? Yeah,
5 with a very good net run rate, but I
five
mean,
and a five and a washout maybe.
Yeah.
because if you're losing 4, then your net run rate is anyway not going to be that great. So 6.
Yeah, true. 9. I mean, nine matches to खेल ही रहे. Given that I was busy talking, match करने का time नहीं मिला. But it does make sense. Clearly, 9 matches you play, so at least 5, and the cushion of maybe a washout or something like that would help you. Would probably help you get into the knockouts. But yeah, 6 wins.
The way it's raining in Bangalore, I mean, just watch out for those Bangalore games. Those are the only ones that can be washed out.
I mean, in all fairness, Chennai was also pouring the day before the India-Australia game. So thankfully, nothing happened on the day of the game. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that we get to see all the matches that are scheduled to happen in Bangalore. But yeah, just the last few questions before we wrap this up. M. Rajesh wants to ask Somesh specifically. He says, "What will India do if they win the toss against Pakistan? Considering Pakistan chased the 340 plus target in their last game. Both India and Pakistan have lost their last two tosses."
I think that game is a very good toss to lose, because no matter what happens, it will always come down to, "अरे यार तुमने गलत decision लिया toss पे." So from a captain, if I'm the captain there, I would want to lose that toss. Having said that, I think uh, I have a feeling India would want to bat first, because too many times we've seen even a moderate target, early wickets, there is pressure on India. So I just have a feeling India would probably want to bat first on that day.
Gurkirat, do you echo those thoughts?
Difficult one to call really, because on one, it's impossible to not think about what happened in that England New Zealand game. The pitch, I felt that the pitch became like concrete. It was just that flat. So yeah, and you know, if that happens, then your spinners are also slightly out of the game. And bowling is Pakistan's weaker suit, you'd have to say. Many would think no, but we can see recent games and we can see how they're struggling with the ball. So will not be the worst idea to even chase. Let Pakistan score whatever they can. Try and restrict them, because your bowlers are doing comparatively better. And then even if Pakistan score 320, back yourselves to chase it, because if you've conceded 340 with the ball, then it also means that your bowlers have not turned up. Then it really means that, if that has happened, then probably you would want to bat in better conditions and see what you could do. So I am slightly tilting towards winning the toss and bowling first because of the reasons given. But like Somesh said, eventually, if the result is not in your favor, a common criticism is going to be you lost the game at the toss. Because I feel that Virat Kohli faces a lot because of that, what happened in the 2017 Champions Trophy, and even Saurav Ganguly faces it. When I felt there were reasons for both to winning the toss and choosing to bowl first. So
True, yeah. Guys, 60 of you watching, please, 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 again, once again, a final request. Make sure you've liked the stream. Make sure you've also subscribed to us if you haven't already. And we'll just take the last few questions before we wrap this up. I know all of us have things, or rather, I wouldn't say bigger fish to fry. I'd say, I don't know, better vegetables to boil, probably. Sorry, Ma. Crick Crazy Mix, how can we miss him? He has a very interesting question. He says, "Can you guess who was the last Indian captain to hit a World Cup century?" I could only think of Kapil Dev. I'm not sure if
yeah,
there's.
no, Saurav Ganguly,
Saurav Ganguly, yeah,
2003
Kenya.
semi-final
हाँ नहीं देखा नहीं
versus
देखा
Kenya.
हाँ all right one last question let's just take Bhargav Sunny's comment because he's been very 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 persistent. He's been bringing this up again and again. Here you go, Bhargav. He asks us, will there be any changes to our playing 11 versus Pakistan? Should we bring back Ash, considering the control which Ash brings in? Gurkirat, you can probably start.
See, only
The
one
start
bowler lacked control. Only
love
one
this
bowler lacked
starting.
control today, right? And that bowler's really been doing well for you. So I don't think control is a major factor. Kuldeep still returned with figures of 1 for 40, and I felt he bowled slightly better than that. Uh, with Jadeja, also control is not an issue. And if you look at the Pakistani lineup, there's one left-hander less now with Fakar out. Even though you could argue that Babar also doesn't attack off spin, and neither does Imamul Haq. I'm my problem is, if you play Ashwin and if you lose the toss and if to bat first, then you are going in with three spinners, and if there is dew, then it could be
Hmm.
problematic. So,
Hmm.
and I'd want to look at Ashwin's numbers in Ahmedabad. I know he's not played ODI is there, but I just want to see how he bowled in those T20 games, because that will give you a fair idea of how he went about his business over there. So playing Ashwin is a risk from that sense, that you lose the toss, you have to bat first, and then you don't have a fourth pace bowling option. You are only going with three spin bowling options. And from what we saw yesterday, uh, both Abdullah Shafiq and Rizwan batted pretty well against spin. Yes, Ashwin's quality is better, but still, it's not something that you can think that, okay, you could run like Ashwin can run through the side with his spin bowling. So I'm not really sure.
All right, and also the ease with which Devin Conway and Rachin Ravindra chased the total down against England in the World Cup opener. That also probably would be some food for thought in terms of how both the teams strategize for the upcoming game. That is, let's just wrap this up with this Pranav Anand stat, very 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 quirky one. Every 20 years, an Indian captain has gone on to score a century in the World Cup. All right, Pranav Anand, there you go. Yeah, that's it from all of us. Just a couple of things. Once again, guys, make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you've also subscribed to us. Also, the first episode of cricket.com Game Nights is out. Please do check it out. Do let us know in the comment section over there how it was like, how were the questions, did you get the answers to all of them? Somesh still has a couple of issues with how it was conducted. So let us know if you would agree to him in the later episodes, that is. And of course, Avnish will be going live with Sam and Ian from The Great Cricketer on Friday, sharp 3 p.m. Lot of Bakchodi, like Somesh and Gurkir had said. Avnish will finally be meeting his counterpart from Australia. See a lot of banter, lot of fun, lot of entertainment. He'll also be talking about the India-Pakistan game, which we will be covering on ground. We will be doing our fan cams. So if any of you guys are watching this, watching the match from the stadium, do pop in, do give a hi, do give a shout out. We'll be there. We'll be there with our cameras. Avnish would be more than happy to meet you guys and talk your ears off. So that's it from all of us. Have a great day and see you guys. Thank you.